guys. So tonight we're talking about the cell cycle or cell division, the way that cells divide. Today in class we talked about all the reasons why cells divide, so now we're going to talk about how that actually happens in cells. So there's a couple different things that happen in the cell cycle. So cells are continually growing and dividing, growing and dividing. And one part of that is interphase. That's the red part here. That takes up most of a cell's life is spent in interphase, where they grow, the DNA replicates, and they grow some more, and then they actually divide. The green part is the actual division part, and that's made up of mitosis. When the nucleus divides, there's different stages of mitosis: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. We'll get to all those. And then cytokinesis is when the cell actually splits in two. So, again, interphase is when it grows, DNA replicates, grows again. The DNA has to replicate because in cell division, in mitosis, we're going to end up with two cells that were identical to the first cell. So if it's things like skin cells replicating just because skin cells come off of our body all the time, we want the cells to replicate to be exactly like the ones before. So first, if you're going to divide them into two, the original cell has to grow to twice its size. It has to double its DNA so that when you split it, it's the same as it was. The two daughter cells are the same as the original cell. So cells grow and divide, grow and divide. Human body cells are called diploid, which means that they have two copies of each chromosome. So the chromosomes are how our DNA is organized, and they kind of look like, just kind of like sticks, like that. And we have two copies of each chromosome because you get one from your mom, one from your dad. And that's true of all eukaryotes. They'll get one, they'll be diploid, having one chromosome from mom, one chromosome from dad. Everything that reproduces sexually, that's the case. And so in humans, we have 23 different kinds of chromosomes, so 23 different chromosomes, and we have two copies of each, so we have a pair of each, so we have 46 total chromosomes. And that's what they look like normally. But remember, in interphase, that DNA replicates, and so when it replicates, the chromosome ends up looking kind of like this, almost like an X, and each side of the X is called a chromatid. So before the cell divides, after it's gone through interphase, the cell has 96 chromosomes because that 46 got doubled. And then through the process of mitosis, where the nucleus divides, and cytokinesis, when the rest of the cell divides, remember prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase are the stages of mitosis. So through that big cell with 96 chromosomes, doubled chromosomes, they split into 46 like the original two cells with 46 chromosomes. And those daughter cells, that's what we call the results of cell division. The daughter cells are identical to the parent cell. So there's no difference. Now let's look at the actual stages. So again, interphase, the cell grows, replicates the DNA. Then mitosis is when the nucleus actually divides. Let's look at this PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Prophase is when the nuclear membrane dissolves. And so the nucleus has a membrane around it. In prophase, that kind of goes away, and the chromosomes become visible. So you can see the little chromosomes there. Normally, in the cell, the DNA, you can't really see all the chromosomes during interphase. They're just kind of all jumbled up. And then in metaphase, the chromosomes line up on these things called spindle fibers in the center of the cell. So remember centrioles, when we talked about animal cells, they have centrioles, and I said that they helped with cell division. Well, here they are. Centrioles are these little star-like looking things, and the spindle fibers attach to them, and they span the cell. So they're these fibers that go across the cell, and they allow the chromosomes to line up so they get all organized, because half of the chromatids are going to go to one side, half to the other to make the new cell. So we need to get all organized and get all lined up in the middle before they separate. And that happens in metaphase. Next up is anaphase, where the chromatids actually separate and they start to get pulled to the opposite sides of the cell. So you see each chromatid going to one side or the other. So we have half and half. Then in telophase, or telophase, however you would like to say it, we start forming the two new cells. So two new nuclear membranes start to form around the chromosomes that went to each side. So we're almost at two new cells after telophase. And then the last step is the cytokinesis. And that's after the nucleus splits. So mitosis is when the nucleus splits. The rest of the cell then splits in cytokinesis. So you end up with these two new cells. The nuclear membrane is totally formed around each one. You don't see the chromosomes anymore. They're just kind of, the DNA is just smushed up in there. And we have two identical diploid daughter cells. That's the result of cell division. Mitosis, interphase, mitosis, and cytokinesis. So we'll get some time to practice this tomorrow because I know that's a lot of information and a lot of different steps to it. But these are the basics, and we'll get some time in class to go over it. So thanks. Have a great night.